Welcome to Season 8 of the Meet the Mancunian Podcast, Social Impact Stories from Manchester. A warm Mancunian welcome from your host, Deepa Thomas-Sutcliffe. Thank you for joining me today. Every Tuesday, I bring you the stories of Manchester's unsung heroes, the individuals who help to create positive change in our community. My aim is to inspire you, dear listener, to follow your own passions, whether through volunteering or working in the social impact sector. I'm also keen to spotlight good causes and create more awareness and support for them. Whether you're tuning in on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or on my website, Meet the Mancunian, you can get ready for a season filled with inspiring tales of social impact within our beloved city. Welcome to the 8th episode of Season 8 of the Meet the Mancunian Podcast, Social Impact Stories from Manchester. Passionate about theatre and the community, we hear from Danny Ryder, actor and creative producer, Reload Theatre. In Danny's own words,
it's a really good challenge for actors specifically to learn a script so quick and get up on stage and do it. Some never want to do it again, but they're always happy they did it. They always say it was a good experience and they're happy they did it. But for some people that don't do it again, then we've got people that do it repeatedly, that want to do it all the time.
Thank you, Danny, for joining me today.
Thank you for having me on.
Great to have you. Tell us first how you found your passion for theatre. Where did that come from?
My passion was for acting in general, both in theatre and green rib. And it goes back to 2005 when I started. When I was in school, quite liked drama, didn't take it up for a while, and then fell into it through a family friend, and out of the blue just started going to acting classes and went from there, really.
And of course, you've been in quite a few different screen productions that our listeners would be familiar with. Do you want to mention a few of them?
I've been in Hollyoaks, Emmerdale, Coronation Street, Holby City Doctors, things like that. A lot of dramas on BBC and ITV, some Netflix stuff. I've enjoyed doing a lot of screen work over time. Theatre, I've done a lot of fringe theatre over the year, and trying to do a bit more of it now, really, because I do have a passion for theatre and got sidetracked a lot in television.
One or two of them are very favourites of my mother-in-law, so I'll be sure to mention it to her. Yeah. Emmerdale and Coronation Street specifically.
Yeah.
Tell us more about your passion for theatre and how you started Reload Theatre. What does it do?
I was involved with a lot of theatre production for a while, up until maybe 2014. My focus became getting TV work. I was working lots of jobs, didn't have a lot of spare time, and had to focus on work that was paying me, and theatre work was profit share. I was obviously doing TV for a while, and recent years I started playing poker alongside acting. Started doing a lot better financially through poker, gave me a bit more freedom, and I realised that I was enjoying doing theatre more than the TV stuff. I like doing TV jobs here and there, but I've been doing a lot of the same parts, smallish kind of roles. In theatre, I was doing bigger roles. The community was really nice, and I wanted to get back into that. And I felt in Manchester, the theatre scene had died off a little bit. One Play One Day was done years ago in Manchester through a friend of mine, Barry, and he moved away. It wasn't happening anymore. And I wanted to start getting stuff going in Manchester. So that's why I came up with Reload and decided to give it a go. Been good.
It sounds like a great journey as well. And tell us more about One Play One Day. It's such an interesting concept.
I think it was a concept that started at the Vic or the Young Vic in London or something. Then Barry did it up here. And the concept is basically we have 16 actors, 4 writers, 4 directors. You all meet up on a Friday night in the pub. We have a little meet, and then we draw them out of a hat. So you get a writer with a director and 4 actors. We'll sit and have a little chat, get to know each other after in the 4 little group. Then the writer will go home that night, write a 15-minute script. They've got to send to me by 8 in the morning. I send that out to the actors and directors. They've got all day to rehearse it, and then they perform it on stage with no script in hand in the evening in front of an audience. quite a daunting task, to be honest.
And was 2023 the first time you did that?
2022 was the first one we did, the King's Arms in Salford, which is a great little venue. It's been a favourite of mine for years. I performed there, I've seen a lot of stuff there. We had to move really only because of size. I didn't realise when OPOD, as we call it in short, came back, it was going to be as popular as it was. So we needed to move to a bigger venue.
And tell us more about how does One Play One Day support the community? I think there's a community angle to this as well.
With One Play One Day, you have so many people involved with it. Most theatre productions in Manchester are done on a profit share. So you'll make X amount of money and that's split between the cast, director, writer, etc. There's so many people involved with One Play One Day that you're just not going to get much out of it, £10, £15 each. So it's just, no one really cared. So I decided that it would be best to do it for charity. So all the money for each one we do for a different charity. So we've raised money for things like Andy's Man Club, Safeline we did recently as well, Millie's Legacy, which was a friend of mine who's been in One Play One Day. Best friend's baby tragically passed away a couple of years ago and he told me the story about it. I really want raised money for the Bolton neonatal unit who looked after Millie. They're quite underfunded, so they're a really good cause to support. If people out there can help them, they help out with parking fees for parents, toys for the kids, loads of things like that. So it's a really good cause, and that was my highlight, who we raised money for really, in all the charity. But everyone's been great, and we hope to raise a lot more in the future. And just raise the awareness of One Play One Day and keep it growing, but getting more popular, and we do it.
What are the challenges you've had to face in this journey of making One Play One Day or making theatre? I guess you're doing it partly to make theatre more accessible. Is there a reason for One Play One Day as a concept?
We need longer than half an hour to get you the challenge. I think one of the other main reasons as well is giving a platform to actors that aren't really getting so many opportunities. That was something I wanted. It was challenging at first in a way to get people to do it nowadays. I think in the modern age of social media, a lot of people want instant success, or they're expecting instant success. And it was trying to raise awareness that doing things like One Play One Day really challenge you as an actor. And it's really good for sharpening your tool. I always say to him, if you can do this, you can do anything. Such a challenge. And it was trying to get platforms out there that give actors these opportunities to showcase what they can do, to really enhance their own abilities as well. So the charity and stuff's great, but in truth, it was the platform for actors that inspired me to do it initially. Doing the work for charity was just a bonus that man. Yeah.
So what are those challenges on that journey?
There's always challenges of finding venue, finding rehearsal spaces, finding people to help out with tech, getting them on board quickly with sound and lighting. Obviously, everything's written overnight. Everyone has to adapt quite quickly. Also, giving that support to the creatives as well. Nerve-wracking for them to get up, perform a play in less than 24 hours. So it's supporting them really, getting stuff they need like props, etc. And it's a challenging day. I'm rushed off my feet each time, and also setting it up and getting people involved. But I love it. Brilliant. And would create brilliant.
Thank you very much for sharing that. It definitely sounds interesting, and I'm going to try and attend this year's if I can. Is there a common myth about your job or field of expertise?
Acting, yes. I think people think I don't have a proper job. So I think because maybe we work less days in the week, people think you have an easier life, but you're always working. My mind's always ticking. I'm doing stuff, and obviously stuff with Reloaded, non-profit. But aside from that, I'm working on creating my own or studying, whether it's acting or poker. I've always got things going on, but because I've technically may work 3 days a week, I do role play work. Then some friends outside of the business thing, oh, if you don't have a proper job, you have an easy life. And it's good, I wouldn't change it. I love my life, I wouldn't change it, but I'm not someone that's sat at home watching Netflix all the time. My mind's always ticking and rolling on my purpose. in what I'm doing.
And that is so important. It's a great one. Everyone's got a different path in life. And we can always say grass is greener on the other side, right?
Exactly. And at the same time, it's some actors as well will make out, oh, it's really hard. I do role play work, and some people are, oh, it's really hard. It's not really. There's plenty of jobs there where you're getting paid less to work a lot harder. It's not a hard job. So I appreciate both sides, really.
I think the most important thing is to love what you do.
Exactly.
Yeah, that is the most crucial. You've said you've raised money for different charities. Can you tell us a little more about the impact you made?
We've done 7 shows now, so we've raised money for 7 different charities. Once we've donated money, our purpose is to raise awareness. In each event, I'll speak about each specific charity. I've not heard too much about how things have benefited afterwards. We managed to raise a lot of events. The first few we did might have been £200-300, I can't remember. Then we got to raise in like £500-700 a show. But they appreciate it. They tell us bits about what it'll go towards and it's helping them. And I think what's good about, because we are giving the money to charity, it raises the awareness of allowing us to do more shows, in turn raise more money for community, things like that.
And is there anything else you want to add on the impact of people who participate, like the directors, the writers, and the actors? How do they benefit?
Like I said before, it's a really good challenge for actors specifically to learn a script so quick and get up on stage and do it. Some never want to do it again, but they're always happy they did it. They always say it was a good experience and they're happy they did it. But for some people that don't do it again, then we've got people that do it repeatedly, that want to do it all the time. Then we have people that now, when they can, brilliant. I think it's a really good challenge. Doesn't take a lot of the time, and I think they learn a lot from it. They meet new friends there as well, and it's a really good event for them.
Thank you for sharing that. And it does sound like a great learning opportunity, but also, like you said, a platform for those who perhaps haven't had a chance to shine, get a moment in the spotlight as well.
It's a very difficult industry. Opportunity can be few and far between. There's so many people wanting to be actors and so few opportunities out there. I'm not saying these shows are going to get picked up and whisked off to Hollywood at all, but they're improving themselves, they're improving the abilities. And as an actor, that's all you can do. You can just be the best actor that you can be, showcase yourself through your show reel, your headshots, your CV, the best you can. Then it's up to your agent. You do all the work on yourself and just see what the world brings you.
That is really true. And like you said, you can be prepared and do your best. And then there's a part which is beyond your control and beyond your influence. And you just need to put good wishes into the universe and have a bit of a vision board there.
Exactly.
And what advice would you have for people looking to start a similar movement in another part of the world or another part of the UK? How do they get started? This is an interesting concept. Like you said, it started in London. You've rejuvenated it in Manchester. Somebody in Bombay or Egypt or somewhere else wants to do something like this. How do they get started?
I'd say they need to ask me for permission. Give me lots of money. You don't need a lot to get started. When I started it, to be honest, I spoke about it with my friend Barry numerous times about bringing it back. I think it was 2014, the last time we did it, or 2015. And it was always like, we might do it, and nothing ever materialised. And it was one day I finished work and I went to King's Arms pub in Salford. I inquired about the space, and the lady in there said, do you want me to email you some dates? I said, what have you got? She said, 6th of November. I went, book it. But if I don't book it, it won't happen. If you booked us in, it was less than a month away. And I was like, I've got a venue to do a show. Nothing else. No one even knows I'm doing it. I rang Barry. We're doing it. He said, he'll leave it to me. He said, he'll direct a piece, but you go ahead and do it. So I said, fine. I set it up, put casting calls out, and it was mad. And watching the show a month later, seeing the place full, and all these actors up there doing great work, and the directors, writers, it was just mad to watch, to think, oh, I just walked in this pub a month ago, like, said, let's put something on. You don't need a lot. You just get a venue, and power of social media now, stick it out there and people get involved.
Thank you for sharing that. An opportunity for you to talk about anything I haven't asked you about, and maybe also give a little bit of a heads up of when we can expect the next edition of One Play One Day.
We should expect it round about April. We're moving venues at the moment, so I'm just looking at various venues. We want to keep moving forward with it. So we're looking at around about April time, but I should be able to date and venue in the next couple of weeks.
Anything else from Reload Theatre to look forward to in 2024?
Potentially, there's a few things in the pipeline. We want to start producing some more plays. Last year, we did 2 plays that were part of a double bill. So we did a play by Amy Lever, who'd been involved with OPOD, and Shaban Dar. Shaban wanted to get his work out there. Amy had done, like I said, a play with us in the pod before. So we combined them and did a show, and that was good. So we want to do more stuff like that this year. OPOD's a lot of work. I have other stuff going on in my life with acting, poker, travel, quite a bit last year. And this year we want to try and push on and try and do some more production and maybe a little festival in May.
Wish you good luck with both plans. They sound very interesting. I'm going to move to the signature questions I ask all my guests. And the first one is, if Manchester was a colour, what colour do you think it would be and why?
It's a colour, red, the Manchester.
If you could choose a famous landmark in Manchester to represent you, which one would it be and why?
Not sure there's many landmarks I can think that would represent me in Manchester. Probably the Dockyard pub in Spinningfields, because that's notoriously where I'd be after work when it's open again.
That's a nice one. If you could trade lives with someone in Manchester for a day, who would it be and why?
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Nice.
They're the best footballer in the world for a day.
It's a pretty cool thing.
Like a king.
That's who you'd like to be with for a day. Nice. Most important life lesson you've learned so far?
Don't let people take your kindness for weakness.
That's a really...
The lesson I've learned, I'd probably say that's the biggest. You learn a lot of life lessons over time, but I would say that has been one I've learned in recent times.
Thank you for sharing that. It is an important life lesson, and I can understand that if a person is kind, you don't want people to take you for granted either. What's the most important personality trait someone should have to work in your industry?
I think you have to have a strong work and good awareness. I think the most important thing, certainly from an acting perspective, is awareness of when you're performing well, when you're doing the best of your ability, and when you're not. I think that's the key thing. Something when I started in acting, I wasn't aware of, probably quite delusional as to where I was, and probably going through some acting classes and meeting more people, I learned more about myself. And I think it's very important for actors to know what they're good at, know when they do a bad performance and say, it's okay. It doesn't make me a bad actor. Just know what I did well, know what I can improve on. If you think you're a great actor and you're doing brilliant all the time, then you're deluded. Everyone does a bad performance here and there. That self-awareness is crucial, I think, to improvement.
I think that self-awareness can help you in work as well, and such an important one, I'm sure, for acting, but lots of applications to many different industries as well. How can interested people reach out to you and learn more? Where can they find you, and where can they find One Play One Day?
So we're on Twitter at Reload Theatre, and on Instagram, if you follow me at Danny Ryder, RYDER, and the number 7, I put updates on there as well. We have an email address, reloadtheatrecompany@gmail.com, but I'll put casting calls and my Instagram and on the Twitter. The next one is when we're looking for actors, writers and directors as well. Also, charities can email us a little bit about themselves, and we'll look at them as being someone that we'll look to raise money for as well.
Thank you so much, Danny. It's been great to talk to you today, for sharing all.
Having us on.
Danny, I really enjoyed learning about supporting community theatre today. Dear listener, thank you so much for listening to the 8th episode of the Meet the Mancunian Podcast Season 8. Tune in every Tuesday for a new episode, or log on to Meet the Mancunian UK to listen to all the episodes and learn more about my podcasting story. Next week on Tuesday, 30th July 2024, I speak to Deepa Patel about supporting diversity and inclusion in the community. Thank you for joining me in the Meet the Mancunian Podcast, Social Impact Stories from Manchester. I hope today's conversations have sparked new ideas and inspired you to act in your community. A big thank you to my wonderful community for your continuous support and valuable feedback. Stories shape the very essence of my podcast, driving me forward with purpose. I'm eager to hear your thoughts. Visit my website at meettheman.co.uk to share your insights. And remember, this podcast is your platform too. Let's stay connected on social media. Find me at Meet the Mancunian on Instagram and Facebook, at Manpod on X, and at Meet the Mancunian Podcast on YouTube. Together, we're more than just listeners. We're a vibrant community dedicated to making a difference in Manchester. Spread the love by sharing, commenting, and engaging with my guests and me. Keep fostering connections and always remember the power to change the world lies within each of us. Until next time.